I need to tell you something that might completely change what you're planting in your front yard this spring. Last summer, a fire captain walked through my neighborhood and stopped at 3 different houses to have what he called urgent conversations with homeowners. All 3 had gorgeous perennial gardens. All 3 were unknowingly creating what firefighters call ladder fuel within feet of their homes. Look, I love perennials as much as anyone watching this video. They come back year after year, they're low maintenance, and let's be honest, there's something deeply satisfying about plants that just keep giving without you having to replant every single season. But here's what most gardening content never addresses. Some of the most popular perennials we've been told to plant for years are actually classified by wildfire safety experts as high-risk fuel sources when they're anywhere near your house. And before you click away thinking this only matters if you live in California or Colorado, hold on. Wildfire risk has expanded dramatically. We're seeing destructive fires in places that never worried about this before. Suburban neighborhoods with perfectly manicured lawns are discovering that their ornamental choices matter more than anyone realized. The area we're talking about is called the home ignition zone. This is the space within 30 feet of any structure on your property. Firefighters and researchers have studied thousands of homes that survived wildfires while neighboring houses burned, and they've identified patterns. The plants within this critical zone made a measurable difference in outcomes. So let's talk about the 7 perennials that keep showing up on high-risk lists, starting with one that's probably in half the yards on your street right now. Ornamental grasses, I know, they're everywhere in modern landscaping. Pampas grass, fountain grass, maiden grass, those beautiful wispy grasses that move in the breeze and look absolutely stunning when they're backlit by evening sun. The problem is what happens to them as the season progresses. These grasses dry out but remain standing. They become incredibly fine fuel that ignites easily and burns intensely. The USDA Forest Service specifically identifies ornamental grasses as problematic because of their high surface area to volume ratio. Basically, all those fine blades create massive amounts of quickly ignitable material. When these grasses are planted as foundation plantings or along walkways near your house, they create a direct pathway for fire to reach your structure. Pampas grass is particularly troublesome because it also accumulates dead material at its base throughout the year, creating even more fuel load. Some varieties can reach 6 feet tall or more, and when that much dried grass is within feet of your siding or deck, you've essentially built a bonfire waiting for a spark. Number 2 is Russian sage. This one hurts because Russian sage is absolutely beautiful. Those purple-blue flowers, that silvery foliage, the way it attracts pollinators all summer long. It's been pushed as a drought-tolerant, low-maintenance perennial perfect for xeriscaping, and it is drought-tolerant. But here's the issue. Russian sage contains volatile oils in its foliage. These aromatic compounds that make the plant smell wonderful when you brush against it are the same compounds that make it burn readily. The plant also develops woody stems that persist through winter, and those dried stems combined with the resinous foliage create what fire behavior specialists call available fuel. During dry conditions, Russian sage can ignite from embers and sustain flame. Firewise landscaping guidelines specifically recommend against planting aromatic, resinous perennials within the home ignition zone, and Russian sage falls squarely into that category. Third on the list is lavender. I can already hear people disagreeing with this one because lavender is so beloved, and it's another plant that's frequently recommended for water-wise gardens. But lavender has the same issue as Russian sage. It's highly aromatic because it's full of volatile oils. These essential oils are flammable. Additionally, lavender develops woody growth and tends to accumulate dead material within the plant structure if it's not meticulously maintained. In areas with hot, dry summers, lavender becomes increasingly combustible as the season progresses. This doesn't mean you can never plant lavender, but firefighters strongly recommend keeping it out of that critical 30-foot zone immediately surrounding your home. Plant it further out in your landscape where it can still be enjoyed but won't contribute to structure ignition risk. Number 4 might surprise you even more. Daylilies. Yes, those reliable, colorful, seemingly innocent daylilies. Now, daylilies themselves don't burn as readily as ornamental grasses or resinous plants, but they create a different problem. Daylily foliage becomes substantial as the plant matures, and after blooming, that foliage dies back but often remains in place through fall and winter. Large clumps of daylilies create dense masses of dried vegetation. The issue isn't so much that they're highly flammable, but that they contribute to overall fuel load, and they're often planted in dense groupings right along foundation lines. When you combine daylilies with mulch and other perennials, you're building up layers of combustible material. Firefighters talk about fuel continuity, which means how easily fire can move from one fuel source to another. Foundation plantings of daylilies mixed with other perennials create that continuity, giving fire an easy path from ground-level vegetation right up to your house. Coming in at number 5 is Artemisia, sometimes called wormwood. These silvery-leafed perennials have become increasingly popular in ornamental plantings, especially in modern, minimalist landscape designs. Artemisia species share characteristics with both Russian sage and lavender. They're aromatic, they contain volatile compounds, and they develop woody stems. Silver-mound Artemisia, one of the most common varieties in residential landscapes, forms dense mounds of fine, feathery foliage that dries significantly during summer heat. That fine, dried foliage can ignite easily from embers or radiant heat. The plant's growth habit also means it tends to be planted in groups or used as edging, often right along pathways or foundation beds. This places potentially problematic fuel exactly where you don't want it during a wildfire event. Number 6 is perennial salvia, particularly the woody varieties. We're not talking about annual salvia here, but the perennial types like autumn sage and Mexican bush sage that have become staples in pollinator gardens and drought-tolerant landscapes. These salvias develop substantial woody growth and, like other aromatic plants on this list, contain volatile oils. Some varieties can reach 3 or 4 feet in height and width, creating significant plant mass near ground level. When these plants dry out seasonally, they maintain their structure while becoming increasingly flammable. Fire behavior research shows that woody perennials with aromatic oils can not only ignite easily but also burn hot enough to generate embers that can travel and start spot fires. And number 7 is yarrow. This might be the most controversial inclusion because yarrow is often recommended specifically for low-maintenance, sustainable landscapes. It's drought-tolerant, supports beneficial insects, and spreads easily to fill space. But yarrow develops extremely fine, feathery foliage and produces flower stalks that dry out completely while remaining upright. These dried stalks and seed heads persist well into fall and winter. The fine texture of yarrow foliage means high surface area, which translates to rapid ignition potential. While yarrow doesn't contain the volatile oils that some other plants on this list have, it compensates by creating abundant fine fuel. In wildfire safety assessments, yarrow regularly appears on lists of plants to avoid within the home ignition zone because of these characteristics. Now, what should you plant instead? This is where the information gets actually useful rather than just scary. Fire-safe perennials tend to share certain characteristics. They have high moisture content in their leaves, they don't produce a lot of dead material that persists on the plant, and they're low-growing rather than creating vertical fuel ladders. Sedums and succulents are excellent choices because of their water-filled leaves. Coral bells, also called heuchera, stay low and maintain moisture well. Perennial geraniums are another good option. Ice plant works in appropriate climates. The key is choosing plants that don't dry out into standing fuel sources. You should also think about spacing and maintenance differently within that 30-foot home ignition zone. Even fire-safe plants should be spaced as individual specimens rather than mass plantings that create fuel continuity. Mulch depth matters too. Keep it to just 2 or 3 inches maximum, and consider using rock mulch or decomposed granite instead of bark or wood chip mulch near your foundation. Deadheading spent flowers, cutting back dried stalks promptly, and removing dead plant material regularly all reduce fuel load. These aren't just nice gardening practices anymore. In fire-prone areas, they're essential safety maintenance. I want to be clear about something. The perennials I've talked about aren't bad plants. They're beautiful, and they have appropriate places in landscapes. But that place is not within 30 feet of your house if you live anywhere with wildfire risk. Understanding this distinction could literally save your home